Hello, my first graders. So I'm going to do an experiment for you today, and I'll show you the finished product when we have our Zoom meeting. So all you need to do this experiment is construction paper. You don't need a whole lot, but I bought the pack at the dollar store. You need some maybe pennies or coins that you can find at your house, or even toys. Now I had trouble because my son's a little too old. I found this little lizard, so I can use him, but maybe you have toys at home. However, the items that you pick, like my pennies, my toy, make sure they're things that don't melt. So we're gonna look at what the sun can do to our bodies, our skin, by looking at what it does to construction paper. So we're gonna do an experiment and make some connections. So I'm gonna pick a couple colors, maybe a red, blue, doesn't want to come out. And then I'm going to pick a light color, like maybe yellow. Okay, so I've got some dark colors, okay, and then I also have a light color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find a dry place outside. Now today, let's see if you can look up at the sky. Okay, there's a lot of clouds up there, isn't there? Okay, some blue, we can see some blue around, but there is some clouds. However, I think this experiment still is going to work. It's hot out here today though. So I'm going to take these papers and I'm going to put them down on the table. So I have a table out back, so I'm going to use, but you can do this on your sidewalk, in your driveway. You just need some place that is going to be dry so that you don't want your papers to get soggy. So I have a table out in my backyard that's dry. Today's not all that windy, but if it was windy, I might need to find like a rock or something to hold my papers down so they don't move. So I'm gonna put these down on the table. You ready? I'm gonna show you. These are my papers. Okay, they're out, they're sitting on the table. Now, I'm gonna take some of my pennies and I'm gonna make a design. So maybe on my yellow paper, maybe I'm gonna take these and I'm gonna lay them out. Okay, so I'm gonna lay these out and I'm gonna design them in just a second. Then I'm gonna take my toy. I think I'm gonna put my toy on the blue paper. Let me get his tail in there. Do you see him in there? There we go. Get his whole tail in there. See what happens. Okay, and then I think I'll do my pennies again on my red paper. So I'm gonna lay them out and I'll show you what it looks like when I'm finished. All right, my first graders, so check it out. This one kind of looks like a flower. Here's my lizard, here's my toy. And then I put a B for my last name, Bell. So I'm gonna let these sit in the sun. It's about 1 o'clock, and like I said, there's some sun in the sky, but we have some clouds. So I'm just gonna let them sit out here for a while, and then we're gonna take a look and see what happens. So I want you to take a second and just think about, what do you think is gonna happen when I take these items off of my paper? Is it gonna look the same? Is it gonna look different? If it's gonna look different, how is it gonna look different? So we'll see what happens. All right, let's see. All right, my first graders. Well, about an hour has gone by, maybe an hour and like 15 minutes, but look at my sky. Ooh, and did you hear that? A little bit of thunder. So my experiment might get cut a little short today because I thought we'd have more time in the sun. So we'll have to see what the results were of my experiment. So here's my papers. Do you see them still there? My flower, my one I made like a flower, got a little messed up, but my bee looks pretty good. That stayed put. Wonder if a little squirrel must have jumped up there and scattered my paper a little bit. So when I lift the coins and the lizard, we'll have to see what happens. Remember, it's only been 1 hour, about an hour, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. So I don't know what it's gonna look like, but we'll have to see. We'll see, what did the sun, when the sun was out, what did it do to the paper? All right, so we'll check our stuff out in just a minute. All right, my first graders, I lifted everything up. So let's take a look and see what happened. Remember, 1 hour, because if you listen carefully, you can start hearing the thunder coming. I'm gonna do this quick before I get caught in a storm. So I'm gonna turn my camera around and so you can see what I'm looking at. Okay, here's my pile of coins I took off. You ready? Look at my construction paper. There, do you see the B? Can you see it going down? Look what happened. We're gonna talk about this in just a minute. Look at the paper. And then look, why do you see the dots still there? My coins are over here. I took them off, but there's the dots. What happened? What caused this to look this way? So look how dark these are and look how light this is. Okay, next up is my blue paper. Okay, look closely. Let me zoom in. What do you see? Do you see my lizard? Yes, you can see the lizard. Look, here's my lizard. There he was. Did you see him next to his shadow? Wow, so we're gonna talk about that. Why did the lizard leave a mark when I lifted him up? Now remember, there's nothing on him. There's no paint, so it's not paint. Okay, we'll have to see. How did that happen? What left a mark? And now last for my yellow. My yellow did not come out as good as I wanted it to, but remember my coins, they were all moved around a little bit. So I'm gonna have to really zoom in a little bit. And I need you to look closely. Look down here. Do you see? You can see it. It's not as dark, but you can definitely see those circles, right? Look, follow it up. And then look, it kind of gets a little funny here. You did start seeing a circle, but remember the coins were all pushed together? Okay, look, there's my leaf that came up of my flower. So you can see it, but you can't see it as well as the other ones. Look at the difference. My coin one that was red, look how much you can see the dots, and then the yellow, you can't see it as much. So we're gonna talk about why this happened, why my experiment turned out like it did.